7 matches this Saturday for SummerSlam and a record 7 guests on Drop the Mic. Yes, we are bringing all our friends to Drop the Mic today to share their SummerSlam predictions in the largest, the biggest Drop the Mic wrestling podcast episode ever. We are closing in on 100 episodes, and this is our, fifth week on Boom Broadcasting, our new home for the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast. And SummerSlam is this Saturday in Cleveland, Ohio. You've always heard that SummerSlam is the biggest party of the summer, and I wanted to share that with as many of our friends as possible. You've seen each and every one of these people on Drop the Mic in the past, and I can't wait to invite them on to talk about SummerSlam 2024. Now, if you watched Out of Pocket yesterday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a 1 hour long special, you know my thoughts on this SummerSlam. Perhaps the best SummerSlam ever was SummerSlam 2002. You had from top to bottom one of the greatest cards, not only in SummerSlam history, but pro wrestling history. You started out with Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio. Angle making Rey Mysterio tap. And then you had Ric Flair versus Chris Jericho. You had Edge versus Eddie Guerrero, two of my all-time favorites competing one-on-one at SummerSlam. You had the Un-Americans defend their WWE tag titles against Booker T and Goldust. You had The Undertaker and Test. You had Shawn Michaels and Triple H in unsanctioned fight. The first match that Shawn Michaels had back from injury in over 4 years. And of course, the night closed with Brock Lesnar winning his first ever WWE championship against The Rock. Now, ironically, this was the last time that the King of the Ring winner had a WWE or World Championship match in SummerSlam. And of course, they brought that stipulation back for this SummerSlam, and well warranted. So who's going to be joining us to talk about these SummerSlam matches? I can't wait to give this all-star lineup to you guys. So first things first, you do want to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our new home, the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel, because not only are you going to see these faces on the show today, but you are going to see them in the future, whether it's Drop the Mic, whether it's their own podcast, whether it's the Nightcap, whether it's Out of Pocket, for a Top Rope Tuesday, whatever you will, they will be back. I believe this SummerSlam right here has the potential to be the best SummerSlam ever. You have Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. You have CM Punk and Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as a special guest referee. You have Bayley and Queen Nia Jax. You have LA Knight and Logan Paul. You have Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. You have Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight title against King of the Ring General, Gunther. And then, of course, you have Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. And so, why not? Let's get right into it. And before I give my prediction for this first match, I am going to welcome Mr. Nightcap himself, the guy from Mouthing Off with Mike. I'm getting my tag team partner, the tag in here. Let's hear what Mike from Mouthing Off with Mike and the Nightcap has to say about this first matchup, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship.
First match we're going to take a look at here on SummerSlam is the Intercontinental Championship match with the champ, Sami Zayn, defending against Braun Breaker. Get the dogs out. Let the dogs out of their cage, as Chano Hayes from Four Sides of the Ring likes to say, because the dogs are going to be barking loud in Cleveland. Hey, listen, it's the home of the dog pound, Cleveland Browns, ladies and gentlemen. But we got Sami Zayn defending that title against Braun Breaker. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, I got to give it to him. And new Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker. It kind of goes without saying, folks. The guy is on a trajectory unlike any superstar we've seen come from NXT. There are a few. I'm not going to get into that. We're talking SummerSlam predictions. We're talking about this nice 7-match card, but I'm giving it to Braun Breaker. The guy's unstoppable, and I don't think he's going to stop when it comes to the Intercontinental Championship. So I'm giving it to him. Should be a hell of a match. Their match at Money in the Bank was chef's kiss. Thought Braun was going to do it there, but it looks like Braun's going to do it at a Big 5 premium live event.
Mike has his entire SummerSlam predictions available on his YouTube channel. You can go over, subscribe to that, watch his content. He does incredible work. We've talked about a little bit about this on Monday during the nightcap. We talked a little bit about it yesterday on Out of Pocket for that 1 hour special. Mike making his return to the Top Rope Tuesday and to Out of Pocket to talk wrestling, talk Top Rope Tuesday, to talk the MLB trade deadline. But he thinks Braun Breaker is going to win his first championship on the main roster, and I agree with him. This is the moment. And people were so upset that Braun Breaker didn't win the Intercontinental Championship the first go round. But what I saw at the previous event, I believe that was SummerSlam, or Money in the Bank, rather. I saw Braun Breaker show that he could go in the ring against Sami Zayn. Braun Breaker actually saved Sami from a couple mistakes, from some catastrophic injuries that could have taken place that match. It showed me Braun Breaker is ready to take that next step to that next level and be the Intercontinental Champion. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, and Ilya Dragunov are the only 3 people to defeat Gunther ever since he came to the WWE several years ago. Like, this is before the pandemic. That's how long this stretch lasts, of just 3 people being able to beat Gunther. Obviously, Braun Breaker speared Ilya Dragunov. I hope Ilya's okay. Not this past week, but the week before, when it came to Monday Night Raw and Braun Breaker earning an opportunity at Sami's Intercontinental title. This is Braun Breaker's moment. Sami had a great run. He had the underdog run, but now he can elevate the next guy, and the next guy is Braun Breaker. Braun's going to be a huge player moving forward in the Monday Night Raw roster, especially when they move to Netflix in January. And I will say, Sami Zayn might even get involved with this Bloodline storyline that we'll dive into a little bit later on this podcast. Mike, I agree. Braun Breaker wins the Intercontinental Championship. And now I get to bring in, from 4 sides of the ring, Nit Ram, to say who's going to win one of the most vicious, one of the most brutal rivalries in WWE. Heck, let's call it in pro wrestling today. It's Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, and this will be CM Punk's first match in WWE in what, 10 plus years? This is his first single televised match in, a long time, ever since his AEW run. He returned to WWE back at Survivor Series last year in Chicago. Does he defeat Drew McIntyre? Let's find out what Nit Ram has to say.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Nit Ram, the one that makes them say, "Oh, damn," and I'm here to give you my prediction on Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. And I think we all see the big picture here, right? Seth screws Punk. And I'm going to tell you how I think we get there. I think the match will go 50-50. Punk will have his shenanigans. Drew will have his shenanigans. But most importantly, Seth will be in between both their shenanigans. I think Seth takes a bump from both people. He gets upset, and then simply Drew runs in for a Claymore. And when he runs in, Punk misses. GTS gets the down. He looks for Seth. 1, 2. Seth jumps up, curb stomps, put Drew on top of Seth for the 1, 2, 3. And Drew McIntyre gets his pin victory over CM Punk, leading into CM Punk versus Seth Rollins.
Wow. Dude, that would be wild. Wow. Could you imagine? I don't even know, like, would that turn Seth Rollins heel? because I'm sure fans are going to be cheering CM Punk. If Seth costs Punk, Seth is automatically a heel on Monday Night Raw. And it's been weird because we've had a heavy load of heels on Monday Night Raw, and now Damian Priest is turning face. That we'll talk about a little later on from another guest appearance predicting that World Heavyweight title match. Man, I don't know. Like I'm split on this one. I'm as wild as that prediction could be from Knit Ram on 4 sides of the ring. Man, you know what? I gotta go CM Punk. CM Punk has to win his first match back, even though it'd be great comeuppance for Drew McIntyre. It could derail Drew McIntyre even further and launch a Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins feud as he blames Seth. But I mean, I think we agree on this, Knit Ram. I feel like whoever loses is going to immediately wrestle Seth freaking Rollins. That is exactly what is going to happen. It's a matter of who loses and how does Seth Rollins cost him. I could see the exact inverse happening where Seth curb stops Drew and helps CM Punk win to the fans' delight. But man, that is tough. That is, oh my goodness. I can't wait for this match. But I think CM Punk going over and then Drew being upset Seth allows CM Punk to recoup a little bit, maybe wrestle again at Bad Blood, maybe wrestle again at Survivor Series, but give him a little break. Up next, we're going to welcome in a good friend of mine. He and I might be going to a wrestling show here locally here very, very soon. But I mentioned the King of the Ring. The King of the Ring gets a world title opportunity at this SummerSlam, the first time since 2002. Well, they also made that stipulation for the Queen of the Ring. And so I'm welcoming in my good friend Nate to share his prediction on who walks away with the WWE Women's Championship. Is it going to be Bayley or is it going to be Queen Nia Jax?
What's up, everybody? SummerSlam is this weekend, and I'm going to review Nia Jax versus Bayley. Nia Jax is having a great run. She is a big, formidable opponent. She can give anybody problems. She can push her weight around. She can throw you around, and she can use her power game. Bayley, on the other hand, she's technical, she's cerebral, and she's got the crowd behind her, and she knows how to stick with it in a match. So I think this match this weekend is going to be all about psychology. Nia's going to try and use her strength, and Bayley's going to try and chop her down and wear her out. Bayley is no stranger to endurance. She was in a big Iron Woman match in NXT with Sasha Banks that got critical acclaim, and she's also had a lot of big matches over the years. But Nia, all she needs is one opportunity, and she hits that annihilator and it's all over. Who do I have this weekend? I'm going with Bayley. I think she's going to use her head. It's going to be a very cerebral match, and she's going to come home with the victory one way or the other.
Nate, you scared me right there when you said the annihilator and it's all over. I would be very upset if Nia Jax won this championship away from Bayley. I feel like Bayley needs to do a little bit more to solidify herself and this title run, because if you remember the Royal Rumble, all the fans, yeah, Bayley was a heel, but the fans were cheering because Bayley finally got her moment, the one she had been waiting for. She got to wrestle at WrestleMania for the championship and beat Io Sky in one of the better women's stories we've had in quite some time. We'll talk about another one here in just a few moments. I would be so upset if Bayley lost this title right now because she needs this, right? If she loses this weekend at SummerSlam, you know what's going to happen? People are going to remember this title run as lackluster. And I feel like Tiffany Stratton could cash in on Bayley versus cash in on Nia Jax. I feel like Bayley has to win, and Nia Jax, she got her kudos. She got her props. She's also improved, by the way. It's no secret I'm not a Nia Jax fan by any stretch of the imagination, but she has improved since she returned to WWE. She's gotten better at mic skills. I feel like she's protecting her opponents a little more in the ring. So kudos Nia Jax. She did deserve the Queen of the Ring, but she does not deserve the WWE Women's Championship over Bayley. Now, somebody who may deserve a championship, he's one of the most over superstars in WWE over the last year, and the fans have propelled him to a championship one-on-one match at SummerSlam, and it's none other than LA Knight. Yeah, against Logan Paul, who has honestly, let's be real, Logan Paul, as much as I despise Logan Paul, he deserves his flowers because he has the United States Championship, and while he's not around every week, Logan Paul, whenever he does show up in the ring, takes this very, very seriously. So they put the title on Logan Paul to hopefully bring publicity to the United States Championship and to WWE. And so I'm bringing in my guy. You saw him this morning on Quick Hits. I'm bringing in podcast_Smitty to say who wins this match between Logan Paul and LA Knight. Yeah.
What's good, everybody? I'm Shannon Smith, aka Podcast Smitty, aka Unk, and I host a show on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. called Quick Hits here on Boom Broadcasting. Catch the show, get you a good laugh, and get enlightened on the latest sports news. Now, my man Michael Davis, he asked me who I thought was going to win between the megastar LA Knight and the social media megastar Logan Paul for the United States Championship. And that's an easy question for me to answer. Let me talk to you. You see, Michael Davis, LA Knight has had to go through some things. He lost a ladder match, Money in the Bank, twice this year. Went up against Roman Reigns, came up short. But it's all a part of the plan. You see, LA Knight has been waiting for that push for a long time. And now he's about to get it. He's over with the fans. He's over with everybody. So it's very important that at SummerSlam, the new United States champion will be, well, everybody say it, L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, it is interesting to note, Logan Paul has held the championship as of today, 270 days. He went over in Saudi Arabia, hitting the brass knucks on Rey Mysterio and becoming a United States champion. But LA Knight, I don't know if it's his age. I don't know if the front office wanted to wait and see if the hype had died down. But LA Knight has come close time and time and time again, whether it's the United States Championship, whether it's the WWE Championship, whether it's Money in the Bank, whether it's the Royal Rumble. He's gotten so close so many times, and they haven't given him the opportunity. I feel like you could put the United States Championship on LA Knight to appease the fans, to appease LA Knight, because LA Knight has done everything he could, despite the odds, despite all the obstacles thrown in his way, despite the, the boxes, let's say he doesn't check, like the ones outside of his control, like his age, this one or that one. But he checks all the other boxes. He can talk on the mic, even though he sounds a little bit like The Rock. I mean, who wouldn't want to sound like The Rock, It's just sometimes he needs to know his role. He needs to shut his mouth, and he needs to recognize who he is and who he isn't. But I've met LA Knight when he was Eli Drake, and he has worked his butt off to get back to WWE, to get back in this moment. And I'll be honest, there's not a lot of people who deserve this opportunity more than LA Knight. And to wrestle Logan Paul, LA Knight's popularity can take another unforeseen level by winning the United States Championship away from Logan Paul. Have Logan Paul leave for a little bit, come back around the Royal Rumble, enter a WrestleMania program, and this is a great way to transition the United States title onto somebody who can be on SmackDown every week, help guys like Santos Escobar, Carmelo Hayes, guys like this who would benefit really greatly from a mid-card title program versus Logan Paul, who can only give it to the bigger stars. Give me LA Knight. Podcast me, I agree with you. That is my prediction for SummerSlam. We got a few more matches left And of course, Shannon does quick hits on Wednesday mornings. And so I wanted to bring in another person from Boom Broadcasting. And he has a couple shows. He has It Stinks, which will air another episode tomorrow on Boom Broadcasting. He also has his own wrestling podcast called Wrestling of Destiny, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Very nostalgic time slot for those wrestling fans who grew up on Saturday morning wrestling. And I had to ask Sean, who does he have in perhaps one of the most personal feuds in women's wrestling history? We have Liv Morgan, we have Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. And before I let Sean bring in his thoughts, I was very skeptical of Rhea Ripley dropping the championship right before she became the longest reigning women's champion in history. Just just an extra week, right? And I was like, watch Rhea Ripley be able to compete at SummerSlam. And you've done this before with champions. You did it with Brock Lesnar. You did it with Roman Reigns, where they wouldn't defend their title between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. And I'm like, watch Rhea Ripley be medically cleared to come back. But I was wrong. I was so wrong, because if Rhea Ripley does not drop this championship, we never get what will culminate this weekend at SummerSlam. Sean, let's hear what you have to say happens this weekend.
What's going on? This is Sean from WOD right here on Drop the Mic with my main man, the president, Michael D, Rhea, and Liv Morgan. It's an easy pick. No brainer, no hard thinking. Liv Morgan will retain the Women's Heavyweight Championship because she's going to have Dirty Dom on her side. For all you people who thinking that Dom's going to side with Rhea, go ahead. You heard it right here from your guy, Sean, off of WOD. Liv will retain because Dirty Dom will find a way to intervene in this match, cost Rhea the match, and show that he's truly been on Liv Morgan's side. So as my girl Liv Morgan would say, this is WOD Sean saying, don't watch me, watch her this Saturday at SummerSlam.
It's very interesting because Mike brought this up on the nightcap when we were live following Monday Night Raw. Sean just brought up that idea. It's this is close. This is tight. I don't know if it's a foregone conclusion like Sean believes it is, because let's be honest, this could go either way. But it could help Liv Morgan in order to establish her reign. If she loses to Rhea Ripley, it shows Liv Morgan was just a transitional champion over the summer until Rhea Ripley could regain her crown. This is tough. This is tough. I feel like Liv Morgan could be signed with Dom all along, but I feel like this is going to lead to an entire Judgment Day split. So I'm starting to think, like, who can fit closer to each other? I feel like Dom could side with either one of them. But I feel like Finn Balor could side with Liv Morgan. I feel like JD McDonough could side with Liv Morgan or wherever Finn Balor sides with. Carlito, man, Rhea doesn't like Carlito. Carlito probably sides with Liv Morgan. And now that leaves Dirty Dom and Damian Priest. Damian Priest has shown since day one he is more on Team Rhea than ever before. And so it will come down to Dominic Mysterio, who he chooses. Is it Rhea Ripley, who he's been with for so many years, since 2021, since we returned from the pandemic? Or could he side with his new boo, Liv Morgan? It's a tough decision. It's a really tough decision. But if Dom didn't swerve Liv and he's really sided with Rhea Ripley, then he'll side with Rhea Ripley. And we'll have even numbers on every side. You got Finn, JD, maybe Carlito with Liv versus Dom, Damian, and Rhea. That could be a good saying. But also that would probably mean, I mean, if Rhea's going for a face turn, Damian going for a face turn, do you really see Dirty Dom being cheered? I don't know. I couldn't see Dirty Dom being cheered, at least till now. But if he helped Rhea Ripley win, then I could see it. I could see some world that scenario existing. If I had to pick a winner, and this could go either way, give me Liv Morgan, but not with Dirty Dom's help, but with Finn Balor helping Liv Morgan. Because at the end of the day, Mike pointed this out on the nightcap. Liv didn't destroy any of Finn's stuff in the Judgment Day Lounge. And in addition, Finn Balor's had a power struggle with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. That could be tough. And Liv Morgan needs this match much more than Rhea so that she isn't looked back in like a placeholder when it comes to the Women's World Championship. That is Sean's prediction. I'm sure he will, cover a lot more about what happened this week in wrestling and maybe even preview a little bit what's to come on Saturday night because his podcast is Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. And so we talked earlier about Queen Nia Jax and her title opportunity, but now I get to talk about King of the Ring, the Ring General, Gunther, having a long overdue World Heavyweight Championship match. I thought he'd get this at the Royal Rumble. I thought he would get this at WrestleMania, but no, he had to lose the Intercontinental title to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania to go on and win King of the Ring to now compete. Saturday night, SummerSlam, Cleveland, Ohio, just about 4 weeks before they're in Germany at Bash in Berlin. And will Gunther walk in as World Heavyweight Champion? Well, let's just ask Wayne Thomas.
SummerSlam 2024, Cleveland, Ohio. The Ring General, Gunther, first El Campeon, Damian Priest, in a match where everybody seems to think they know what's going to happen. After all, Gunther held the Intercontinental Championship for 666 days. The thing is, Gunther's doing exactly what he did to Sami Zayn, which cost him the match. He's underestimating his opponent, calling Damian Priest street trash, all while Damian Priest is being pushed as a babyface. To me, this only spells one thing. Once again, we will all rise for the El Campeon.
Wow. So he thinks Damian Priest retains his World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther, and Gunther doesn't enter Bash in Berlin as World Heavyweight Champion. Now, before I touch on what Wayne said, let's give a round of applause for both Damian Priest and Gunther. If you look online, there's images surfacing of what Damian Priest used to look like as Punishment Martinez, what Gunther used to look like as Walter. Man, they have worked their butt off. This is why we're getting this match at SummerSlam 2024, because they did not take their current circumstances as their final destination, as their fate, their destiny. They worked their butt off to get in the best shape of their lives. They worked on their character. They worked on their moveset. They worked on everything they possibly could to get to WWE, to get onto the main roster, to have memorable moments as member of Judgment Day, member of Imperium, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, one of the best Money in the Bank runs and cash-ins in history at WrestleMania. Damian Priest and Gunther are examples to anyone watching this, to anyone watching SummerSlam this weekend, that never accept no for an answer. And kudos to these guys because they're in SummerSlam and one of their marquee matches because of it. So kudos to these guys. I'm excited for what they cook up. Interested to see, because it obviously looks like Damian Priest is going to be a babyface moving forward, even beyond this match. Gunther the heel, Gunther waiting for Bash in Berlin. Could you have Gunther walk in to Bash in Berlin not World Heavyweight Champion? I'm not sure. But the winner of this match also depends on Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. I feel like this World Heavyweight title match, I'll be honest, I feel like it kind of needs to open the show. because you're going to have Cody and Solo main event, which we'll talk to here with our 7th and final guest on Drop the Mic here in a few moments. But Damian Priest and Gunther, that match it has to go before Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. It has large ramifications of what to expect next on Monday Night Raw. They're going to be on Sci-Fi again this Monday, just like they were this previous one because of the 2024 Paris Olympics. When I look at this World Heavyweight Championship match, when I look at Damian Priest, when I look at Gunther, yes, I can see a scenario where Damian Priest wins. But guys, I'm sorry, Wayne, just feels like it's time. It feels like it's time for Gunther to walk in to Berlin as the World Heavyweight Champion. This is why he dropped the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. Gunther needs a championship around his waist. I think much like Roman Reigns needed the championship for the last 4 years. I really think like Kevin Owens needed a championship back in his main roster debut in 2015, being NXT champion, being United States champion. He always seemed to be around a championship. That's the exact same way I view Gunther. I think Gunther wins the World Heavyweight Championship and brings prestige to the World Heavyweight Championship. And that brings me to what I believe will main event SummerSlam, because you cannot close this any other way. I've been sharing this for months, that Solo Sikoa would pin Cody Rhodes in a 6-man tag, and that would propel Solo into the main event of SummerSlam, challenging Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship, hoping to bring the title back to the bloodline. I did not expect Solo to go ahead and call out Roman Reigns. And if you've heard Drop the Mic the last few weeks, if you've heard Out of Pocket the last few weeks, if you've seen me tweeting on social media, you know who I expect to show up at the very end of this match. But before I give my prediction, I want to bring in my guy, Bully Ry, to hear what he thinks happens in the WWE Championship match.
Hey, it's your guy, Bully Ry. Can't even wait till I get home to discuss this match between Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes. This weekend at SummerSlam, the WWE Undisputed Championship on the line. Listen, the last few weeks have been bad for Cody Rhodes and the new bloodline. I feel like we've got the NWO Wolfpack here with Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, and Solo Sikoa, decimating anybody who wants to include themselves and incorporate themselves with Cody Rhodes. However, I think we're going to get a very similar situation that we got at WrestleMania with the new bloodline, where everybody gets involved to try to cost Cody the championship. But Cody's going to have everybody come to his aid, which will culminate in the return of your tribal chief, your real tribal chief, Roman Reigns, to set up potentially some sort of Survivor Series matchup, or some semblance of maybe even go to the Rumble, maybe even set up foreshadowing of a WrestleMania match. But I think that you're going to get all this sort of gaga, as PJ Steven would say it over on Tap House and Touchdowns. But ultimately, whether it's disqualification, whether it's just a dirty win, Cody Rhodes will go over, and he will continue to be your undisputed WWE champion. And it will eventually set up for a Survivor Series matchup with the old bloodline versus the new bloodline. So there's my prediction. I will see you guys soon. Bully Ry out.
Now, I don't see that happening, and I'm sure Bully Ry would love to be here and defend himself. That's why I had him send in a video, so we didn't have to back and forth everything. The Gaga, I don't see this going down just like WrestleMania, because there were so many parts into that WrestleMania main event where you just had to have everybody. I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like it's Cody Rhodes by himself on an island versus this new bloodline that Solo Sikoa has assembled. And the only guy who really needs to insert himself into this match is Roman Reigns, but I don't feel like Roman Reigns is going to ruin the opportunity for Solo Sikoa. What I do expect is I believe that Solo Sikoa falls short of winning the WWE Championship. He's going to show that he belongs there. And yes, we may have run-ins from the Gorillas of Destiny. We may have a run-in from Jacob Fatu. But what's going to happen is we are going to have Solo Sikoa fall short to Cody Rhodes. And as Solo is picking himself off the mat, Paul Heyman might walk out from the backstage area, put his hands like this, and then you hear the head of the tables, music hit, and Roman Reigns is back at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns returned at SummerSlam in 2020, 4 years ago, to spear the Fiend. A week later, won the Universal Championship and never looked back. This return will be in front of fans and will be much, much more significant and much bigger than that return 4 years ago that he had at SummerSlam in the Thunderdome. What this will do for Roman Reigns is fans are going to go absolutely nuts. If there was a roof on the Cleveland Browns Stadium, it would be blown off and just scattered. The debris scattered throughout Ohio, which Ohio doesn't have much to begin with. Anyway, so it won't even matter. It'll be like just their normal streets, just like trash everywhere. But it's okay. There's no roof. So, I mean, you won't be able to tell the difference, right? Roman Reigns coming back, and people are like, oh, the fans don't deserve him. Da, da, da. That's true. That's true. Because for the last 4 years, we're like, oh, Roman Reigns has the championship. Oh, Roman Reigns has had the title so long. Oh, why won't Cody finish his story? I want Cody to finish his story. Oh, why won't Drew McIntyre win a Clash of the Castle? Why won't Sami Zayn win an Elimination Chamber in front of his Montreal family? And why won't Cody finish his story again? And guys, come on. Like, yeah, fans are not deserving of Roman Reigns returning, but that doesn't change the fact that Triple H has had a plan all along. And it's going to be fantastic when Roman Reigns comes out and answers Solo challenging him. And Solo, people are like, Roman's not returning at SummerSlam. That's too obvious. Well, Solo wouldn't have started calling Roman Reigns out if that wasn't the plan. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot have SummerSlam end without Roman Reigns returning. And that is why Cody versus Solo will be the main event. That's the WWE Championship. Yeah, there's other stories that may have like a bigger presence, like Liv and Rhea. You know, Gunther would win the world title for the first time. Punk and Drew has, been a huge story for months and months and months, and they haven't even wrestled a match yet. No, Cody Solo is the main event. Roman Reigns is coming out to be the closing image of SummerSlam, and every eye will be glued to the TV come Friday SmackDown. That is what's going to happen at SummerSlam. A very, very, very special thank you to Mike from Mouthing Off with Mike. You can catch his predictions on his YouTube channel. A very special thank you to Nitram from Four Sides of the Ring. They also have their own YouTube channel. A special thank you to Nate. Special thank you to Shannon, Podcast Smitty, Quick Hits. His episode dropped this morning on Boom Broadcasting. A special thank you to Sean Lucas from Wrestle of Destiny. His podcast drops Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Again, on this YouTube channel, Boom Broadcasting. A special thank you to Wayne, the admin for the Wrestling Movement page. And a special thank you to my guy, Bully Rye, from Tap Outs and Touchdowns, Ryan Frick. Very special thank you to all of these guys for making this the largest episode of Drop the Mic in history. 7 guests, and 7 people I consider dear friends of mine, and you will obviously be seeing a lot more of them moving forward. Thank you for enjoying this unique twist on Drop the Mic as we get closer and closer to celebrating 100 episodes of Drop the Mic and celebrating on our new home, Boom Broadcasting. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment your predictions for SummerSlam so they're in writing before we get to the Saturday's event. We'll also be doing a nightcap immediately following SummerSlam. And Mike from MOWM hosts those each night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and for premium live events and pay-per-views. He will be hosting it Saturday for SummerSlam. He hosted one for Monday's Raw. I was on it. He hosted one last night for NXT. He'll host one tonight for AEW Dynamite. He'll host one for SmackDown this Friday. And, of course, SummerSlam this Saturday. But, everyone, thank you so much. We got to get out of here. But don't drop the mic. We will see you back here next week for the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast.